Good morning. It's Friday here in McAllen, Texas. It's a bit nippy out here this morning. Cool. And so hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving yesterday. Oh, the park is closed. All right, no problem. How come the park's closed? That makes no sense. It's Friday. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I had an awesome lunch with my mom and my stepdad, and at Cracker Barrel. Then I went to my pastor's house, and they ate. I ate already, and then we went to another pastor's house. I ate again and watched football, and then got into a little heated conversation toward the end. So I'm going to make a point here this morning. My scripture reading this morning was tainted. There was an agenda, right? And found my answer, right? It's Proverbs 24 verse 28. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to deceive? Okay, now I can go, oh, that spoke to me. Oh, but I was seeking something to justify my stance on our little, Thanksgiving Day spat, right? And which was really interesting. I wasn't on it live, but Eric Lofholm did a training yesterday, and his training was basically on the family get-togethers and family and friends not talking to each other or having disputes, over Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh, that was very timely, right? He's got some wisdom. Oh, and then he made me feel like he was talking to me, which is always makes somebody want to listen when you think that there's a specific message to you. Toward the end, he's talking about somebody having a death in the family or of a loved one. And I appreciate that, Eric. I was, it was really funny because I was looking for Law and Order last night, and it wasn't on, but I'll always think of my wife Natalie whenever I see Law and Order. I'll always think of her when I do push-ups and pull-ups, and when I run. Coach Natalie. and she just was an awesome cheerleader, She just was. I would she'd sit in the car sometimes when I'd run around the park. She liked, she loved looking at the park and then watching me run. And she'd get all excited when I ran by the car because I do 2 laps in the park. It's only 2 miles, But she'd get all excited, and she'd, oh, you really ran good, or make me do that extra set of pull-ups. I only saw you do 2, or if I did them at the gym, I didn't see them. Those will stick with me forever. And No, what's coming to me right now is, you know, in that scripture, do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to be dishonest? And, it's sometimes what people don't say is where the deception is. Well, they don't tell the whole story. And you gotta, oh man. I had, it's really funny because you can see people with a challenge, with challenges, with similarities, right? Like my best friend from high school called me up yesterday while I'm watching, the Raiders beat the Cowboys, and he's by himself. He thought I might be by myself, and I wasn't gonna be by myself. I was gonna find somebody to hang with yesterday because I need it. And I got to sit at the table with like 4 pastors yesterday, and I had I had something to say that got their attention. There's so much going on in the Bible. It's like, read it and like, what is the point? What's the underlying message? And it's so layered. It's so, but basically, it comes down to fearing God. And I don't like that word fear, but respect, endear, love God, I like better, right? But if you love God, it means that what he says, you love, you endear, is impactful to you, right? And when you catch yourself going against what God says, and God says a lot of things through other people, like, directly from prophets like Elijah and Samuel, and but also through the Psalms and Proverbs with David and Solomon. God says a lot, and there's certain things, and it's always the case. It's always the case when we put ourselves ahead of God. What we do and what we say takes precedent or priority over what God says. Okay, that's when there's a problem. Okay, that's where there's a problem. And it always causes a problem. It always, when you can see somebody's ego and pride coming through, it's always going to cause conflict. It's always going to be an issue, right? And and some people know they got a problem with that. And this is something the Pastor Clark's been putting on a lot. Is whenever you're this, make yourself the least, you're the greatest, right? The more you serve others, the greater you are in God's eyes. There can be times, and I've done it. In fact, I'm known for it, where you get somebody with an ego, and they're hard to control. You give them their props. You go ahead, because it don't hurt, doesn't take anything against you to recognize somebody for something they want to be recognized for. And what it does, it makes them quit fighting you to establish their authority or to get their respect. Once you give them what they're looking for, then they settle down, right? You can communicate with them. and it's sometimes it's you gotta. Roy Jones Sr. used to tell me all the time, you fight when you want to fight. When the other guy wants to fight, you don't want to be there, right? And that's that's a smart way to fight. When I started learning to fight that way, it became very easy. Like way easier than ever. Instead of me trying to press all the time. You look at this fight with Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford. Shawn Porter pressed it the whole time, and so he was always walking into the traps of Terrence Crawford, and he got caught. Where that's how Roy Jones Jr. beat James Toney so easy. Okay, because James Toney's style is set to counter those people that are always the aggressor, all the time coming at you. And Roy didn't play that. Okay, he didn't. James Toney's the last one you want to press. He'll make you miss and get you good. That's what he does. He gives up and sees where you put all your money and takes it from you. Mugs you. And when you're always fighting all the time, you're always, I love what and I've seen her do it. She evolved to this point. My CEO, Bernadette Kim, she's gotten very good at just listening and the just getting to understand somebody and what they want and what their main focus is. All right, it's masterful to see her do it. Right, and Pastor Clark's pretty good at that too. He doesn't jump in where he's not, even whether he is an expert on it, right? Like broadcast, communications. He's the expert, and he'll listen. He'll listen for what you want, and way before he tells you what he's got, he's listening. It's pretty interesting. Okay, and because he does that, he lets you get all the fight out of you before he gives you anything to fight against. And usually he's going to give you something to fight with. Right? And it's ingenious. All right. Time to go work out. Have a good one.